But there is a different way, which is to match move a blank plate and then place green screen footage on polygons in 3D. So first we shoot a background plate, which is usually wide and no problem to match move. Next, for the elements, we're shooting them on the same day to get the same lighting. But we're not in the same location, just at the same angle to the sun. We're shooting one person at a time because it's easier to deal with single people in 3D. We're just doing one person and swapping the wardrobe 15 times, so there's a danger of looking like an army of clones. We don't have to do multiple takes of each version, because we can just have the actor do a really long take. And get different versions by changing the start offset. If the actor is doing a choreography, we can also do small offsets to randomize the copying. It can be okay to shoot small groups of people, but there is a problem that people's feet will be offset in height when seen in 2D. So technically, some of the characters will be floating. If we're doing a crowd, it might not matter because their feet will be covered, but that's up to you. They also tend to lump together when they're shot in groups. So we're doing one at a time, and then we make 3 variations of each take for about 45 different versions. And copy them throughout the scene using something called instancing, which we're talking about on the last volume. And then here's the shot. So let's look at what works and what doesn't. On the huge upside, this way we can do crowd shots with 1 million people, and it wouldn't even be much work. Even though we're just using a single actor, it doesn't look half as much like an army of clones as you'd expect. You could get completely realistic with just 15 actors and some wardrobe swaps. On the downside, they're all shot from the same angle, so the perspective isn't technically correct, although the difference might be too small to matter. To make the perspective better, we first of all want to pick a station point that'll work for as many positions as possible. And around head height with a neutral lens works well for a forward-looking shot like ours. If people will be facing sideways, you'll also need to shoot your elements from that angle. It won't work to just shoot them from the front in live action and then shoot them from the side in 3D. Because they're just 2D, and the more we depart from the original angle, the worse it looks. Especially if you're shooting downwards, you'll have to do your elements from that angle. So the best thing you can do is to shoot in a way that doesn't challenge this limitation. Most importantly, don't do anything that has a dramatic change in angle. You can tolerate to be about 20 degrees wrong, so don't change your camera pan tilt more than 20 degrees. Instead, do subtle pushes or cranes. They're always safe. Also notice that the only place you can really see problems is in front, where people can look like cardboard cutouts. If you avoid having anybody very close to the camera, the perspective change on the rest of the characters is completely tolerable. You could also have real people within the first 10 meters, but you'd have to garbage mat them, which would be a major task. And lastly, consider that the more people you have, the better it works. And 10,000 people will look more believable than 20. We have about 2,000 here.